I'm going to have a Miss Cleo line. Call it now.
Did you think Cleo wasn't going to see that?
Do we get any hints which way you're leaning?
We're thinking about them as maybe the best to ever play the game. That's the one that'll make you drop your drink here like, oh, NFL is king. And right now, Taylor Swift is the queen.
The clip's going to go here. Okay, and cut. And then there were two, the Niners, the Chiefs, Tim Micallef, and the only human on planet Earth that can lay claim to the idea that you will see him more than Taylor Swift this Super Bowl weekend. Nate Burleson, on God, facts or no?
Oh, snap. I never thought about that, bro. You just blew my mind. I'm up right now. You might see me more than Taylor Swift and Usher. I'm lit, baby. Let's go.
How did the conversation with Usher go, by the way? We never circled back on that.
It went amazing, man. He's truly a showman because he got it. He leaned in. He came to play. We sat down in this like smoky bar. It was almost like a speakeasy vibe. Kicked it there for about an hour, and then we hopped in a Maybach and drove around Vegas for like 3 hours. He gave us more time than we asked for. I mean, the takeaways are, he said he's going to bring the ATL to the halftime show, and he also said this will be the greatest halftime show ever. So I'm excited for it.
Ooh, and I love how you just slid in. We drove around in a Maybach. Is Taylor going to make it?
Definitely. From what I'm hearing, she got things situated where she is going to be, where she's coming, which is, of course, here in Vegas. And Vegas, they're going to do everything they need to do, air, ground, to get her to the game.
That's amazing. All right, I'm sure we're going to get to football, but I know that there are people who want to know what it's like to work on a Super Bowl broadcast, like the most watched thing in North America every bleeping year. What's the craziest thing about being a part of the Super Bowl broadcast on CBS? On CBS.
It's unique because it's Vegas. So we're going to start at the Bellagio, like right in front of the Fountains. And we'll be there for about 90 minutes or so. And we're going to break down the game, X's and O's. We got a ton of taped packages and pieces that we'll be tossing to. And then we have to hop in the car, go straight to the stadium. And in that time, we're going to have people on the ground there that are going to hold it down. And then once we get to the stadium, we got to rush to our booth, sit down, lock in. And for me, it doesn't end there. Once the game starts, I got to head over to the Nickelodeon booth and then head back at halftime and do that all the way until the game's over. And then at the end of the game, even though I want to take a break, take a shot, go party with whoever won the Super Bowl, I have to take my butt to sleep because I have to wake up and co-anchor the show the next morning for CBS Mornings News. So it's wild and crazy. And I'm not going to lie to you. I love this so much. I love, you know how it is. Even though we've done this for quite some time, you still get nervous because you care about it and you want to be good. The stakes are higher Super Bowl Sunday. It's just, you want to look good, you want to smell good, you want to talk good, like you want to do all of these things. So you not only represent the brand, the network, but yourself. So the stakes are high, man, and I'm excited.
The stakes are high. The nervousness is good. That means you're still alive. You still get that little bit of, I always say, like, you're just still looking for, when I stopped playing, nothing gave me the juice like going on live TV, like playing.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it's a different juice, but it's a real juice. All right. So during the off week, we talked about Patrick Mahomes and landed on the idea that he was on GOAT pace. Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment of our conversation?
That's fair to say, for sure.
Same with Travis Kelce as a tight end. I don't want to pat ourselves on the back, but we've been saying this from years ago, that this was the greatest pass catching tight end in the history of the game. Still the case for you?
Yeah, no doubt. Mandem balling out. Is that what y'all say, right? Mandem, Mandem balling out.
You got to put a little more Caribbean twang on it, but yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay, all right. You got to teach me. You got to hit me up. No, they're still on pace. It was like, nah, I ain't got that. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I hung around enough dudes to kind of pick up a little bit, but
of course,
still a little pale. You don't know. Tell the man them. Understand what I say? All right, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes are on pace for not only a historic career, they'll go down as the best duo ever statistically. They are definitely the best of their era already. I'm giving Patrick Mahomes best quarterback. and of course, Travis Kelce, best tight end. And let's not forget, Travis Kelce was part of the Gronk era. So I am saying, as it stands, Travis Kelce has had a better career than Gronk by a hair. Of course, Gronk was dominant. But I just feel like these guys are now going into a different stratosphere. All of a sudden, we're thinking about them as maybe the best to ever play the game. As Tom Brady started to work his way out of the league, we have talked about this a bunch. I didn't think in any world, in any alternate universe, that we would ever see a quarterback get close to his Super Bowl record. And now you have a guy that has been in four appearances in 5 years. If he wins this, it's number 3. And he's just getting started. We forget how young Patrick Mahomes is. Now, of course, a lot of things are going to have to shape up in his favor. I think Andy Reid is going to have to stick around. They're going to have to add in players as the older veterans start to phase themselves out. But I just give them guys credit because they're going to be in the great GOAT conversation, not just of the time they played, but when they walk in that room after they get their gold jackets and it's nothing but Hall of Famers, the OGs, the ones that we looked up to, the ones that we had posters on the wall of, are going to turn and look and be like, oh, there goes Mahomes and Kelce. And that is legit.
Crazy to think about that. And this is where the reputations are built and busted. So I follow all that and the Mahomes GOAT talk with a simple question. Is Brock Purdy elite?
Yeah, I'm not even going to hesitate on that. Brock Purdy is elite. Brock Purdy was, excuse my language, kicking ass this year. Just a few games where he had a little bit of a slump, caught the yips, and then he went on that bye week, hit the reset, came back, and was balling. Now, I'm not saying he was perfect every week, but he was perfect for this team. And I do not want to hear, well, he has McCaffrey, and he has Deebo Samuel, and he has George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk is the X factor. All of those things are true. But at the same time, another thing can exist, that Brock Purdy is an elite quarterback. He's a great decision maker. I was talking with Steve Young. I crashed Rich Eisen's set, right, the other day. I'm ready to roll. I'm like, Rich. He's like, pull up. So I pull up. I see there wasn't anybody sitting down. So we're talking, and I'm breaking down the game, and I'm talking about my interview with Mahomes. We got to talk about that, too. I talked to him a couple of days ago. And then he's like, all right, Steve Young is on the way. So in my head, I'm like, yo, when Steve Young comes, Rich, I'm going to bounce. He's like, you can stick around. I'm like, no. First of all, I'm in, like, the seat next to you. So I'm going to get up when Steve comes. And Rich is like, chill. So Steve sits down, and I'm just hanging out with Steve Young. Never really met him in person, and he's cool, but I was dying to ask the question.
Right.
What's Brock Purdy's intangible? Because everybody wants to break down why he is an elite.
Great question.
Like, what is his intangible? What makes him good? What makes him great? As a guy who put on that jersey, as a guy who was undersized, overlooked, you had intangibles that we could point at and be like, Steve Young, he does these things very well. And he said, 60% of the game is making the right decision. So this whole game manager thing, I don't understand, because 60% of the game for a quarterback is to manage the game and make the right decision. 40% might be ad-libbing, extending the plays with your legs and throwing off-center throws. Yeah, being an exceptional athlete at the quarterback position, cool. That 40%, he said, only a few guys can do that. Not everybody can do both. And he said, let me end with this. We've seen Brock Purdy do the 40%. So in all reality, Brock can throw off of his mark. He can get flushed out of the pocket and still throw a dime. And we know if he's doing traditional 3-step, 5-step, 7-step drop, he's going to get it to the right guy. So I just feel like he's elite.
I often think about the questions I ask you, you know this, in an attempt to get the best answer. And I struggled with this one, like, who else is elite? Who do I take him over? Is Hurts elite? Would I rather him or Joe Burrow or Josh Allen? This elite thing is like a tricky thing, and that's why all the talking heads do it. And there's no real right answer, so that makes it a great argument. So I just looked at the numbers. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't, Jay-Z. And since coming to the league, Purdy is 20-5 as a starter, including the playoffs. The only postseason game he lost, he tore his UCL in the elbow first quarter and tried to come back. His 808 winning percentage, his 47-14 touchdown to interception ratio, his 111.2 passer rating, Nate, all the best in the NFL during the time he entered the league as Mr. Irrelevant.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? Isn't
That's
that
facts.
something? But it goes to show you that, yeah, it has to do with Brock Purdy making the right decision. And of course, we have to talk about the talent. But there also has to be a good play caller. I was having this conversation the other day with the NFL Today crew when we were rehearsing. Imagine if Brock Purdy goes to another team with a solidified quarterback who's balling out and is in the early phases of his career. Imagine if he didn't go to San Francisco where Garoppolo was teetering and he was almost out the door. And they were unsure about Trey Lance and they didn't know if they wanted to give him the keys to the organization. It's all like, it's quite serendipitous, but things have to fall in line for a guy to get an opportunity. And then once he got the opportunity, the fit was perfect. Bill Sims says it all the time. He was like, don't judge a quarterback too quickly because it could be purely circumstantial. He said, these guys are too good of throwers in high school and college to come to the league and be bums. He said, but if they have the right system with the right players and they are the right quarterback, they can be successful.
Without a doubt. Tom Brady, 6th round pick, Joe Montana, 3rd round pick. I say it all the time. You talked to Mahomes. That you said we got to talk about that. Tell me about and I too often don't ask you this. Who did you talk to this week? But so Patrick Mahomes, the sit down, how'd it go? What'd you hear?
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes was great. I'm talking with Kyle Juszczyk's wife. You know, she's doing the branding now. Yeah, no doubt.
Designer look, yeah.
Yeah, Usher, of course. Amazing racist Phil Kogan. Keegan-Michael Key, he's hosting the honors. I talked to a few different people. Yeah, it's pretty dope. But Mahomes, you know, I said to him that there's been a shift in how people look at you. And you can tell that this interview is going to be different. Usually we talk as laughing and joking, we smile. It's Mahomes. Everybody loves him. But I was talking about this shift that has happened. They went from being happy for his team and his success to being fed up and fatigued. You know how it is. It happens all the time. It doesn't matter if you're Kobe and the Lakers with Shaq, or if you're the mid-90s Bulls, or if you're the Boston Celtics from yesteryear. It doesn't matter if you're the Yankees. Like, for some reason, as fans, we love you initially. Oh, man, this guy's balling. No, he's my favorite. I had him on fantasy. He's kicking butt. I'm telling you. Damn, they won again. I'm happy for him. I mean, you know, Andy Reid's the man. Another Super Bowl appearance? Yeah, man. I mean, Mahomes is pretty good. You see that contract? That's great. Man, the Chiefs are in it again? Damn. It happens just like that. And he notices. He pays attention. Most guys would sit there and BS me and say, oh, well, y'all don't listen to the noise. I don't pay attention to it. It's all. Mahomes is like, nah, I've seen the shift. And I'm okay with it. Almost as if he's like, now I know what it's like to be a villain. And the rest of it you got to watch on the NFL Today. It's pretty fire interview.
That might come from Pops being a pro too, right? Like understanding that, I mean, you and I have seen it because you've been around it long enough now and we're getting to that age, but like they build you up to tear you down. And the truth of the matter is they'll build you up again. When guys go out, I mean, it's amazing how many things were forgot along the way when tearing you down and then building you back up again. That's just the way it goes. So I wonder if it's Pops being a pro, albeit in baseball, albeit not as good as Patrick was on the football field in his craft, but still been there, seen it, done that. And Pat Sr. is real as they come.
Man, that dude is like he's like one of them young rappers. You know, the Chiefs beat a team. He talking about, we smoking on that Josh Allen pack tonight. Smoking on that Ravens pack tonight. I'm like, yo, chill out. Chill out.
Why aren't more people talking about a pair of top 3 defenses in the league meeting in the Super Bowl?
I think because we're so caught up in what the NFL promotes, which is it's a quarterback-driven league. But when you talk to Mahomes or you talk to Purdy, they don't talk about themselves. I mean, more specifically this year, Mahomes has talked about his defense more now than ever. Not that he hasn't before, but he's making sure to highlight them. And I asked him straight up, I'm like, yo, your defense carried y'all through a few games. And he was like, man, more than a few. He said our defense led the way. And it's good for these quarterbacks to understand that. And I think it's great for the Super Bowl, which means it's going to be ultra competitive. I'd rather see a game in the high 20s, low 30s than some, high flying affair with no defense, no turnovers. I want there to be some drama to it. And the only way you get drama is if defenses step up.
Fred Warner said that they hadn't been good enough, like just flat out not good enough at all. And like I'm going through this, and it may be the never let anyone determine your own worth Super Bowl. Isaiah Pacheco about to become the first running back to start in 2 Super Bowls in his first 2 seasons since Hall of Famer Tony Dorsett back in 77, 78. Pacheco was taken 251st overall in 2022. 11 picks ahead of Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy. So there's some talk here about guys overlooked and defenses perhaps overlooked and running games. Like the Niners were gashed by the Lions and Packers ground game, and the Chiefs run defense ranked 17th in the regular season. Could we, I know what I'm saying here, Nate, but could we actually go old school and have this game decided in the trenches?
You're so conditioned to watching high-flying football, you couldn't even get that out.
No, but you and I both know that the trenches are so important, but the running backs get so like back in our day, it was all about sweetness and Barry and Eric Dickerson, and like we've just forgotten about this. But this could be one of those bowls.
It's hard to even to get it out because it's hard to wrap our minds around it. Like, are we going to see a game where 2 quarterbacks have thrown the ball very well with skilled players, with great tight end play? Are they going to be turning around, handing the ball off in creative ways, or doing shovel passes, or even short distance passes to their running backs to serve as extensions of the run game? Like, is this going to be old school football? And if it is, I'm here for it. I really am. I like the grittiness of the playoffs. I like the way Pacheco runs. Because the thing about it, regular season, it's fun. We get to make jokes, right? Damn, he runs hard. Oh, man, that dude is a beast. Look at those defenses. Look at those defensive lines in the trenches. They're putting in work. But when those types of plays and moments happen in the Super Bowl, those are man-maker moments. Those are the ones that we remember. Those are the replays we play over and over again. Like, just imagine Pacheco running the ball near the goal line. He meets Fred Warner. Like, that's some old school Bo Jackson, Brian Bosworth energy. Like, and if that happens in a Super Bowl, that's the one that'll make you drop your drink and you're like, oh. So I'm good with old school football. I actually hope we get more of that than just some high-flying 7-on-7 flag football game.
All right, let me just throw this out there for those maybe saying, all right, shut up, it's Brock Purdy versus Mahomes. The Niners defense is allowing 5.6 yards per carry in the postseason. That is 14th out of 14 playoff teams. And the Chiefs' run defense in the regular season were tied 17th in rushing yards per game against and tied 24th in yards per carry against. If you're looking for an angle that might be a little different than everybody else, I always do like the matchups. Back when I used to do play-by-play, I would do the matchups, run defense versus run offense, scoring defense versus scoring offense, just to see where your matchups may be. And everything kept pointing me back to the running game in this one, even though you and I spent the vast majority of this talking about Brock Purdy and Mahomes, and rightfully so.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that is a legit angle. I mean, the running backs are going to play a big role. The trenches will play a big role. That's where this game will be won. It's not going to be the pass game or the DBs. This is going to be won in the run game.
All right. Last year, you absolutely, positively dominated the predictions of Super Bowl 57. For those who don't remember,
if I had to bet on one man, I would bet on Andy Reid. I do believe he is going to coach his best game that we've ever seen. It will be creative. It will be fun. It will be explosive. I have the Chiefs winning this 38-35.
First of all, Nate,
and Patrick Mahomes will be the MVP.
Thank you. You're all so kind. I'll be playing again this Sunday in Vegas for Super Bowl 58. Grab your tickets and run to bed.
All right, we don't feed you that CBS bread. We don't feed you that CBS bread. I understand, but do we get any hints, any ideas, which way you're leaning towards?
That's a really good question. All right. Okay, so
I'm not. Hey, listen, I know my role. Okay, know your role. Shut your mouth.
I get it. I got
quote a
something
great
for you.
man.
I got something for you.
Okay,
I got something for you. I'll say this: it's going to be a close one. So I will give an exact score on that. And the next hint I will give you of where I'm leaning, the MVP will be non-traditional. Non-traditional. So
like
that's where I'm leaning right now. You got to tune in Sunday, because if I nail this 2 years in a row, baby.
Just ask for the raise, homie.
Yeah, that's a fact. I'm going to have a Miss Cleo line. It's going to be Nate. Call it now.
Did you think Cleo wasn't going to see that? Let us amaze you. Call now and try it for free.
Miss Cleo. Okay, last one. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce. We are football first. I left it to the end. You and I both kind of get caught up in pop culture every once in a while. There seems to be a lot of opinions in this space. Some relevant, some like bleeping crazy, some interesting. Once and for all, is the Swift Kelce thing good or bad for football?
It's great for football. We never complain when we see The Rock going to Colorado to visit Dion, or if we see all of the celebrities sitting courtside at a Lakers game, or when we cut to a booth, in New York for a Yankees game, and it's every celebrity that you've ever imagined. We never complain. Now we show Taylor Swift for seconds, and we're talking about seconds when it comes to the totality of the game, and we get in our feelings, and not we, I'm talking about those other people. I'll say this: if you're upset about Taylor Swift being shown at a game, it says more about your insecurities. Now, I'm not going to go as far as saying these guys never have sex. Those are some crazy takes out there. There's people that are like, you guys are virgins. So I'm like, whoa, damn. Okay, you're coming in hot. I just feel like these are grumpier old dudes that have their own insecurities, that have never felt any type of limelight, and don't want to share what they feel like is traditional football with the new generation of fans. And I feel like Taylor Swift is bringing in even more fans, and this Super Bowl will be a testament to that. So shout out to Taylor Swift, shout out to Travis Kelce, and they're doing it right. They're not cheesy. They're not making out everywhere. We didn't see them kiss up until like a couple of months ago, and that was like a hidden camera after a concert. And then they kissed after the AFC Championship game. Of course, who wouldn't? So like, they are actually trying to stay off the grid while we're getting concerned about stuff that doesn't matter.
They can stay off the grid. She can stay at home and watch the game on TV. But, listen, this is I'll say this. For people who question why the NFL embraces it, look no further. Let me do the Jay-Z line again. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Chiefs, Bills, 51 million viewers in the U.S., biggest audience for a divisional playoff game ever. Remember, we're living in a time where people are cutting cords. Not as many people are watching live events, live TV, period, anymore. Then, conference championship game against the Ravens, an audience in the U.S., 55.47 million on CBS. Most watched AFC championship game ever. And in 2023, Nate, 93 of the top 100 broadcasts in the United States of America were NFL football games.
NFL is king. And right now, Taylor Swift is the queen.
She is. And Nate Burleson, let me tell you this. Also among the royalty this weekend, I would say good luck on all of the broadcasts, but I know you're going to kill it. You are among the best broadcasters I have ever seen, never mind work with. Thanks for this season, my dude. It is always fun chopping it up with you.
I appreciate it, brother. It was fun. That's why I didn't miss a week. And when I head across the border, night out on me.
Yeah, I got you. When you come north, I got you. Nate
All
Burleson, appreciate it. Have fun this weekend and get some naps in, son.
I will, brother. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Canada, I love you, baby.